Now, welcome again. We begin with updates on the death of the Pope. The Vatican has announced that Pope Francis' funeral will be held on Saturday, the 26th of April at 10 a.m. local time in front of St. Peter's Basilica. The late pontiff will be moved to the Basilica on Wednesday morning, where his body will lie in state for public viewing until the burial. The Pope, who served for 12 years, is currently laid out in a coffin at the Santa Marta residence. His decision to be buried at the Basilica of St. Mary Major rather than in the traditional Vatican crypt marks a significant break from papal tradition. Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re will lead the funeral mass, which will conclude with a final commendation. According to Vatican customs, the conclave to elect a successor will follow the funeral. And predicting the outcome, or rather, for more on this, I'm joined by our international correspondent, Afua Hagan. Afua, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us yet again. And if you'd please tell us, what are the latest updates from the Vatican City?
Well, as the funeral from the Pope has been confirmed for Saturday morning, 10 a.m. local time, that's 9 a.m. Lagos and London time. We have had more world leaders come out and saying that they will be attending. So Ursula von der Leyen will be attending, as will Sir Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister. Javier Milei, Argentina's Prime Minister, is expected to arrive in Rome on Wednesday, and of course will be in attendance at the funeral. US President Donald Trump and his wife Melania will be attending the funeral, as will with the French President Emmanuel Macron, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and the Brazilian President Lula da Silva will be in attendance as well. Now, the Russian President Vladimir Putin said he will not be going, but that's a list so far of world leaders who will be in attendance at that funeral. Now, as you said, the Pope has elected to be buried not in the traditional and St. Peter's Basilica, but Santa Maria Maggiore, that's St. Mary Major, the Basilica there. That was one of his favorite places to pray, and he will be buried there. Now, most popes are buried in the Vatican grounds. The last not to was Louis VIII in 1903. Now, St. Mary Major is about 2.5 miles from the Vatican, so we can expect some sort of funeral procession to take place during that funeral on Saturday. Now, the Pope's body has been laid out. It will be laid in state in an open coffin in St. Peter's Basilica from 8 a.m. UK time, 9 a.m. local time tomorrow. The public will be allowed in to pay their respects from 11 a.m. and the Basilica remaining open until midnight. On Thursday, mourners will have time from 7 a.m. till midnight to pay their respects, and on Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then the Basilica will close in preparation for the funeral on Saturday morning.
That's a lot of activities, and to go with that, a lot of talk about conclave. So let's talk about that. What happens now in the process of choosing the new Pope?
Yeah, let's talk about conclave. Now, the conclave can begin no sooner than 15 days, but no later than 20 days after the burial of the Pope. So the earliest it can start is around the 5th of May. Now, conclave is a very long process that basically is about the cardinals. There's 136 cardinals eligible to be part of conclave, although there's a rule in place now that 120 of them can actually take part, and they choose the new Pope. They're supposed to follow the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is supposed to guide them as to who the next Pope will be. Now, the longest conclave in history was in the mid-13th century, and that lasted nearly 3 years, 33 months. It began in 1286 and finished in 1271. The shortest conclave was only 1 day long. The cardinals chose their predecessor on the same day that they started, and that was in 1274. Now, if you're going to ask me how long this conclave will take, I don't know if it will be 33 months. I don't know if it will be 1 day. 2 to 3 weeks could potentially be the norm for them to pick the successor for Pope Francis. But like I said, it's how long is a piece of string. The cardinals tell us it's all about them following the Holy Spirit. It's this process of whittling down the cardinals, picking bits of paper. Whoever gets the least votes, they set those bits of paper on fire. You can expect to see black smoke, or you can expect to see white smoke. If you see black smoke emerging from the chimney from the round of burning paper, that means they haven't picked a pope. If you see white smoke, that is good news. The bells will ring, and that means that they have picked a pope.
Well, Afua, thank you very much. And of course, I do remember that there is a package that you've put together regarding the process of choosing a new pope.